What's up, boss man?
What's up, my guy?
You ready to get spooky?
Oh yeah. How you been doing?
I've been doing pretty good, man. I'm kind of hungry. I've got food waiting on me outside. Literally, I put it in the microwave, but it literally just received or it just hopped on my doorstep from DoorDash, and I had to go run and get it. So
Oh man, being a bigger man, I know the pain. I can only imagine the agony.
it's Chinese, so I'm hungry.
I imagine.
But yeah, man. So how's your week been, dude? How you been?
It was a harder one, not gonna lie.
What's going on?
Just a lot of stuff with the family, and I feel really bad for my grandma. Just a lot of stuff going on with her, and we went to the zoo. We went to the
Oh,
little
that's
zoo.
what's up. I did too.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Sunday. Sunday we went. Were you there?
Stop.
Sunday?
Saturday. We were there Saturday
Oh, we went
for the light festival.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
didn't get to-
insane.
Yeah, we didn't get to stay for that. I wanted to, but we still saw the lanterns. That was kind of cool though.
That's what's up, man. That's awesome. Oh man, we got a whole bunch of people coming through. Jaime's here, of course. He loves my Venom shirt. What's up, Sandy? How's it going? Hard to hear you, Josh. Oh, turn yourself up a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, I did. Hopefully, that
Okay, cool,
helps.
cool. Yeah, you sound good.
But yeah, we went on Sunday. Some of those animals, dude, I feel pretty bad for the rhino. When we went to saw the rhino, he was literally just face
slumped
into the
over?
ground, just standing up with his nose into the ground, and I felt so bad for him. My grandpa is one of those people who shows up each morning and walks. So we're going around the zoo, and he walks up to the animals, and he's like, "How you doing, Theodore? How you doing?" And I'm like,
He has names for everybody.
these are like the legit animal names. I had no clue who he was talking to. I was like, who are
Oh,
you
wow,
talking
okay.
to, Papaw? I thought he was crazy for a minute. But no, it's because supposedly when you go real early in the morning, that's when they feed them.
Oh, well, okay. That's so. What time? I would totally want to do that.
I think like 8 and 9 is when he goes.
You think I would know? I'm a freaking resident here.
But yeah, he says like 50 people show up each morning and they just walk the zoo.
That's awesome, man. Does he have a membership or something?
Oh yeah. We all got in through their membership.
Oh, okay, cool. That's awesome, man. That sounds like a great time.
It was pretty nice.
I'm trying to put my freaking notes over here and it's fighting me.
I do too.
Perfect. Sheesh. Anyway, awesome, man. Well, I think we pretty much covered everything. Are you ready to get this thing popping?
Yeah, definitely.
Sweet. Hey, Google, lights to red.
It looks like there's a piece in yours that is starting to go out in your strip.
Oh, that's my Punisher skull. It's got LEDs.
Okay. That makes sense.
I can turn him to something different. It might look better, but so really quick before we start, Dakis is coming in with saying, "Oh, I love the Cecil Hotel lore. Can't wait." Jaime saying you sound better. Sandy saying I love your grandpa. I'd like to do what your GPA does. I don't know. You guys are too cute with the red. Okay. That is one nice Punisher skull. Yeah, Jaime sent me that in. He got it for me as a gift. He had it made.
Oh wow.
So it was pretty dope.
Wow.
But anyway,
Looking out.
let's get into it.
All right. So, if you guys couldn't tell, we're going to talk about the Cecil Hotel. This is easily one of the most, I don't know about you, but this is like one of my most favorite topics to talk about. Do you watch Ghost Adventures at all?
I used to. I don't know if do they still keep it up? Like,
Oh yeah, there's new episodes. Hell yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I know.
I would get into it.
I know a lot of people think it's fake, but it's so entertaining. Zach, I love Zach. He is hilarious, and sometimes they do act over the top, but nonetheless, some of the stuff they find like it's compelling. And they did. I know they did a lockdown here, and it was a good episode. It was a real good episode.
I prefer them over ghost hunters. So
Yeah. I choose Ghost Adventures any day of the week. It was like a really long episode. Really, actually, a pretty decent episode. They found some pretty. I mean, it was all right stuff. Nothing that made me go, "Oh, yep, they're real." But
right.
given the Cecil Hotel's background and lore, I definitely think something's up.
You talking paranormal?
I mean, what else could it be? Paranormal. One of the people who liked and followed us today talked about their supernatural stuff, which there's a clear difference, and I think it's full of both, honestly. But
well, let's get into it. Let's hear about the Cecil Hotel.
Yeah, so Cecil Hotel was founded in 1924. There's a lot of conflicting things. Say it was more than 1927, but
right.
We concluded 1924. It was originally made for a middle class society. The lobby was actually constructed in a way to trick members because supposedly across the street was a Ritz-Carlton, and Ritz-Carlton at the time back then was like a very high class hotel. So they were trying to compete with the Ritz-Carlton. So they constructed their lobby in a way to make it look extravagant, like it was like a really nice hotel.
Right.
When in reality,
fake people.
Pretty much. When in reality, once they got to their rooms, it was everything but. So most of the time, they draw a lot of business because they kept their rates really low, like really low. And
$14 a night, right?
I think it was even lower than that.
Even lower, okay.
Yeah, in the 20s and 30s. That was the rate throughout the 70s and 80s, I think. But the hotel rooms were supposedly really run down, not the best maintained, not kept up well, and they had to share a floor with a single bathroom, much like co-ed dorm living.
Oh, okay.
So that doesn't sound like my ideal hotel. I'm not staying there.
That didn't sound luxurious to me.
No, not at all. But other than that, man, it was just a hotel that was supposed to be something that it really wasn't. And then I'll kind of throw it to you to let you get into.
Right. So the Cecil is known for its many mysterious deaths and suicides and just crazy ongoing things. And it's actually, just to throw this in there, it's actually known for its connection to the Black Dahlia. But we actually covered that in our previous episode, so we really won't touch on that this time around. But the first reported death was actually on June 19th in 1926 when a retired mining employee, his name was William McKay, he actually died of natural causes in his room. And that is honestly probably one of the only, if not few, natural causes that had occurred in the Cecil. But after that, I think it was was it the same year or the next year?
Next year.
So the next year was the first recorded suicide. Do you remember the guy's name, Josh?
Yeah, his name was Percy Orman Cook. So it was, I think it was almost 6 months after. Yeah, a little over 6 months after that first reported death. This guy was supposedly staying in the Cecil Hotel. He had a falling out with his wife and daughter, and he failed in reuniting their family. And he was the first person to commit suicide, and he did so by gunshot to the head. Now, it was reported that he had a slim chance of living, and he actually died en route to the hospital.
Wow.
But given the background of this place, I'd say it's safe to say he probably died at the Cecil Hotel.
Right. I mean,
now,
not many people survive a gunshot to the head.
Yeah, exactly.
So
now, with where this gets nuts, the next 7 deaths were all some form of suicide or they report them as deaths, not necessarily ruled them out to be suicide. But I find it hard to believe people are pushed off or pushed out of a window without some sort of, thing playing into a force. So I won't get too deep into each story, but we have W.K. Norton. He was the second person to die of suicide, and he was found after he supposedly ingested poison capsules.
Wow.
Next person, and what's crazy is that all of these are within 1 year of each other.
I think we figured that out right before the show, didn't we?
Yeah. I was looking at the. It's pretty nuts. It's like almost of this is like they're kind of spread out through like month wise, but the years they're consistent. They keep coming consistently. Those first 8 people.
Right.
The third person, Benjamin Doddich, was also a suicide with a gunshot to the head, and he did not leave a suicide note or anything. The next one is kind of weird. Next one was Sergeant Louis D. Borden. He was an Army Medical Corps officer, and he was found dead, and he has slashed his own throat with a razor.
Wow.
Now, he left several notes. Now, supposedly, he did this because he was rumored to have poor health.
Right.
That makes no sense. I don't get that. Like, why not just die naturally, I guess? Maybe he was afraid to die that way. I mean, I don't know, but something about that one doesn't add up.
I honestly want to look at the correlation between the Cecil and other hotels, even though Cecil's literally, it's known as the deadliest hotel in LA.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have friends that are bellhops and that have worked in hotels all the time, and like there's stuff that bonkers stuff that goes on all the time, and honestly it's just not reported. And so like I kind of want to look at like we should, well, obviously not the show, but like I want to know the correlation, right, between the weird ongoings of the famous ones and the stuff that just aren't talked about. Anyway, continue.
So after Sergeant Lewis, we got Gracie Margot. She supposedly fell from the 9th story window.
Oh yes, is this the one story?
No, not that one.
That's coming up. Okay.
Yes, yeah, that one's coming. So she was found with telephone wires wrapped all around her body.
Right.
And she supposedly died at the hospital as well. But they were unable to determine if it was a suicide or an accident. I find it very hard to believe that you just accidentally fall off a 9-story window.
Right.
After her, literally 8 months later, another guy named Roy Thompson, he was also in the United States Marine Corps. He jumped from the Cecil's top floor, which is 15 stories high.
Wow.
Yep. He jumped. That's kind of all that was really said about. Yeah, pretty much. After him was a man named Erwin Neblett. He also died by ingested poison. And then after him was Dorothy Sager. She also ingested poison. Now, I don't know about you, but 3 people ingested poison. 3 people jumped from a building. 2 people headshot, and 1 slit their throat. All within I think 13-year period.
Wow.
That's nuts. Something doesn't add up.
Well, my question is like, where are they getting this situation? Like, so the poison pills. So I know that area of LA had been growing in reputation for being seedy.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming, I don't know if they just went to the Cecil to kill themselves or just were down in their luck or for whatever reason, but like this place seems to be the place to just off yourself, apparently.
I mean, it comes off that way, supposedly.
As morbid as that sounds.
supposedly most people. So the Cecil Hotel offered a lot of long-term stay options,
Right.
and that's what a lot of people did because of how cheap it was. And I would assume if you're staying here, then you're probably not doing too well
Right.
financially. Now, what's crazy is one of the girls that jumped off, she had $1,800 in her account.
Wow. Okay.
And this is in 1940.
That's a decent amount of money.
That's a lot of money, equating for inflation. That's definitely not financial troubles.
Right. Right.
So that's kind of odd. Now, so after those first 8 deaths, we have our first murder. A lot of people called her. She was known as a lot of things. She was known as like a pigeon lady. Her name was Dorothy Jean Purcell.
Right.
She was staying in a room. She was actually sharing a room with her boyfriend, and she had been unaware. She was pregnant. I'm sorry, I confused this one with the pigeon lady. This is your story. This is the lady who was staying in the room with her boyfriend, and
I tell you what. So when did the pigeon lady happen? What year was that?
She was murdered in 1964.
Okay, so then I'll just jump into it then. So September 1944. I think Josh is trying to talk about before I get into that. I'm gonna jump to the comments real quick. Jaime's saying, I feel like something is about to pop out from Josh's right with all that space, like it in the movies.
It is.
Creepiness galore. And then he said, oh, Sandy Abbey, what was that hotel in Unsolved Mysteries where the guy fell off the roof? And then Sandy said the Belvedere. So the Cecil summons lost souls. She was responding to what we were saying earlier. But yes, so I will get into the story. And so September 1944, this is one of the crazier stories. Yeah. A baby is found on the roof of the building adjacent to the Cecil Hotel. So this baby belonged to a 19-year-old named Dorothy Jean Purcell. And so she had been staying, like Josh said, with her lover, who was actually twice her age. And his name was Ben Levine. One night, she actually woke up with abdominal pain, and not wanting to wake up Ben, she actually went to the bathroom, and to her utter shock and surprise, she actually gave birth right there to a baby boy. So through all this, completely confused and in a lot of pain, she thought that the baby was actually stillborn. And so that it was dead on birth, whatever. And in her fear of compromising her relationship with Ben, she actually made a huge and terrible decision. She dropped the baby from her window of her place in her hotel room. Then she goes back to bed. Just like that. But what ended up actually happening was the forensic surgeon found that the boy had air in his lungs, meaning that he was actually born alive. That's very sad. Yeah. What's crazy about that is that the trial concluded the next year, but she was found not guilty by reason of insanity.
Yeah. And what's even to add on to that, three psychiatrists said that she was mentally confused. Okay, now that's nuts. And also to add on to it, supposedly, according to her testimony, the baby came out purple. Now,
okay.
Usually that means they're not breathing, not
stillborn,
crying.
Right?
It's stillborn. Now, she may have been confused, but even if that were the case, what right mind? And another crazy part of this is that she was so scared of waking up her boyfriend.
Yeah,
is part of the reason she threw the baby out of the window. and supposedly she was unaware that she was pregnant. There are just way too many ifs in this story,
Right.
and it doesn't seem right. It doesn't.
Now I've heard a couple stories before where people or women don't realize they're pregnant, which I'm like, I guess if you're heavier set or whatever, I don't know, but like there have been several cases where they give birth and they had no idea they were pregnant. And it's like, now in my head, I'm not a woman, but if there are quite a few signs, right?
Yeah.
To the signs of, oh, hey, I have a human inside of me. Like, like there's throwing up. There's the mood swings. There's the cravings. There's all kinds of telltale signs. But this just seems this just seems like a really, really weird story.
Yeah.
I don't know.
To say the least, I would say that's one of the more you're joking, right? Stories. Like I don't get that. But
Alexandra's hopping in and she said this story has all of the red flags. What's up, Alexandra?
To say the least.
Jaime saying, oh my, Travis giving his expert opinion or expert guess. Yeah, I'm not an expert. I'm just giving my guesses.
Now, after her, like Trey said, she was acquitted. She was not found guilty by reason of insanity.
Whatever.
I don't believe I believe she literally walked out of court scot-free. She didn't have to go to an insanity ward, nothing.
Right, probably.
And which is nuts. I guess it was in the middle of World War II, so maybe I don't know. But they just let her go.
Sure. They had
so
other things to worry about, apparently.
Clearly. After they found the baby, the next reported death wasn't until 1947, and that was a man named Robert Smith, who, according to another witness, we'll say, this guy supposedly fell out of the 7th-story window. Again, how do you accidentally fall off a window? If you've ever seen the Cecil Hotel, which I actually have a picture of the hotel that I'm going to get up, these windows do not look like you just accidentally fall out of them.
No, they're pretty big from what I know.
Yeah. And while I'm pulling
that's
it up,
kind of scary if you think about it. Like, why in the world why did they make these windows this big?
And if you, a lot of these things, stories I've heard are people supposedly see babies outside of the window, and they think that they have to save it. So they go out and they see the baby and they're like reaching for it. They're trying to save the baby. And as they're reaching, I guess they extend too far and
they lose their grip, they lose their balance. Oh my gosh.
And they're out of there.
Wow.
Now
that's insane.
I'm not entirely sure how accurate that is. Now, this is an aerial shot of the Cecil Hotel. Now, you can kind of see them here. They look a lot taller vertically than they do horizontally. I'm not sure how they open, but a right-minded person just doesn't accidentally fall out of that, I don't know. It's kind of iffy to me.
Yeah, you're either... So you've got, one of a couple of options here. You're suicidal.
Yep.
You are pushed. There's no... I guess like with the whole paranormal aspect of the babies or seeing a loved one or whatever other story you got coming up, it's an accident. But, the last one is less probable, according to science. But, those windows are massive. There's actually, speaking of windows, there's a TikToker I follow, and he's pretty famous, but he has a drone that he lives right across the street from the Cecil. And so he tries to fly his drone into, I believe it's Lisa's room, which is, we'll get into later. But he cannot get it in there to save his life. And he's done it multiple times, but every time it seems like there's a force that just knocks over the drone. and he just can't get it in. But it's a massive window. But anyway.
All right, so craziness happens after. So Robert Smith was the last guy we just talked about.
Right.
The next two deaths after him were in 1954, 1962. So a pretty decent gap.
Right.
They both fell out of the windows. One was on the 7th floor. The other was on the 8th floor. Now, the one that fell out of the 8th floor, she's the woman that I said had $18 in her account. $1,800.
Yeah.
So, no reason to really just throw yourself out of a window.
Right.
But that's there's about to be 4 consistent deaths of people falling out of a window.
Wow.
Now, you would think, regardless of the time period, you got this many people falling out of a window, you would do some sort of implementation or something to make your hotel a little bit safer.
Yeah, bars. I mean, anything. Install smaller windows. Like,
and what's crazy is I found a story where the lot next to the Cecil Hotel sued and consistently sued them because of how many things kept falling out of their windows, or out of the Cecil Hotel into their lots. Bodies, I mean, literally everything. God. They sued them for that. Yeah. So
which story was the one where the lady fell out and landed on someone?
That is the next one that happened after Julia Francis Moore. She was the one that fell out of the 8th floor with $1,800. The next one was Pauline Auden. She jumped from the 9th floor after having an argument with her husband, Dewey. He had left the room prior to her jumping out.
Right.
And when she jumped, she landed on a guy named George Gianni, and she killed both of them instantly.
They think that they both jumped out of the window, correct?
Yeah, originally they both thought that they had committed suicide together, but after they looked into it, they found that George's hands were in his pockets and his shoes were on, and they definitely know that his shoes wouldn't have been on had he jumped from the 9th floor.
How? I'm sorry, this is terrible, but like, how insane is like? What are the odds of you walking down a street and having a body land on you and that kill you?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that was her plan at all. Obviously, it was to kill someone else in the process because you'd have to have impeccable timing. But that is the worst. That just ruined his whole day. I mean,
and you got to think, this guy. Well, I would say that did ruin his day. He was 65. He was 65. So at least he got some good
no. Yeah, at least he had a decent long, a long life, I guess.
It's reported that he was just out on a normal walk that day. So you got to think, in that morning he put his socks on. I'm guaranteed the last thing he thought was, well, I sure hope some 27-year-old lady doesn't land on me today. But that the odds, the nutsness behind it is just
right.
I can't believe it.
It's so sad.
So you got this. So Jaime, this happened. So this is like a time span.
I think he was talking about the baby. That was in 1944. But
yeah,
go ahead, Josh.
Yeah. I was gonna say they span from 1927 all the way to 2015. This specific case where she jumped out of a window and landed on him, that was in 1962. All the prior ones before that were between the 40s and 60s. Yep, she did land on a guy.
Right.
Pretty nuts. What a way to go out. I mean, it's not wrong. Not wrong. Not wrong.
It's so sad.
It is. Now, after that, 2 years later is when Pigeon Goldie is killed.
Right.
Now, she was a hotel worker. She was discovered, and in her room, she had been raped, stabbed, beaten, and robbed. she was known in the local area, and that's why she was called Pigeon Goldie, because she took pigeon seed everywhere with her, and she would always feed the local pigeons in the Pershing Square.
Okay. She's one of the weird bird ladies, but yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. She was the lady from Home Alone 2.
I was gonna say so she's from Home Alone 2, right?
Yeah,
Time
pretty
traveler.
much. So her body was found with her. She was a big LA Dodgers fan. They found her body with the cap, the full sack of birdseed, and everything else had been stolen. Now,
Wow.
hours after she was murdered, there was a guy named Jacques Ellinger who was seen walking about, and he had blood all over his clothing. He was arrested. He was charged. However, he was later cleared of the crime, and to this day, it is still unsolved.
Wow. Why? Why pick a bird lady? Why?
I just there's something at this hotel. Something is something evil. Something, I don't know. Something that just calls people to do terrific. I mean, not terrific, horrific things.
Horrific, yeah.
Yeah, definitely not terrific. After her, things kind of went cold. The next death didn't happen until 1975, and that was Allison Lowell, and she also fell out of a window from the 12th floor. And another reoccurring thing that happened in all these deaths, which I forgot to mention, but I mentioned to you before the show, a lot of these people checked in under names that were not theirs.
Oh, wow. That's right. That's insane.
Yeah, so maybe they're just trying to hide that they were staying there. I'm not entirely sure, but a lot of these people were using fake names when they were checking in.
I wonder if it was like to cover something. Like maybe, I don't know. You know, why check in under a fake name? What would that do?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Yeah, like Sandy said, I believe there was a total of 19 deaths that are accounted for here, and kind of odd, kind of really. You would think it would be shut down. And crazy
right.
fact, to this day, it's still open. They are using the deaths and everything crazy around the hotel as advertisement.
That's so wrong.
Yeah. So after that, we have the next death, which is an unidentified male who was 20 to 30. They were never identified. Supposedly, this person had either fallen, jumped, or had been pushed off the 15th floor. And they were never identified. So that's...
Why did it say... Why wasn't he identified?
It just...
No one came forward?
I believe they couldn't either this guy was so bad mangled and they couldn't recognize who he was. I mean, you got to think 150 feet up. You're probably not going to look the same on the ground as you did before you jumped.
Makes sense, I guess.
So
I would assume the dental records would still kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, you would think. I'm not entirely sure because this was in 1992. It might have been around. I'm not sure. But I'm not sure if it could have been. It could have been. But nonetheless, he was still never identified to this day.
Right.
After him, we get into our serial killers.
All right, let's get it. The meat and potatoes.
Now, the two that lived here, one of them supposedly did kills in the Cecil Hotel, but nothing has ever linked those deaths to the Cecil Hotel. So there's no 100% fact that he actually did it. And that's your guy.
Okay.
My guy, also known as the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez. He was a local serial killer known as the Night Stalker. He lived at the Cecil Hotel long term. He paid $14 a night, and he lived on the top floor of the Cecil Hotel. Now, he did not make any kills or do anything in the hotel, but it's rumored that he did satanic rituals and a lot of crazy devil worshipping related activities at the hotel.
That's insane.
Yeah, so I got a picture of this nutcase. When you see him, you're going to understand exactly why he probably did the things he did. He killed 18 people, and he killed majority of his people with their own bras. He garroted them literally with their own garments. It's pretty nuts. Here he is.
Dude, this is crazy, man. I've seen him a couple times, but I've seen this picture too, but
yeah. I mean, if a picture can speak 1,000 words, you tell me this guy's a serial killer, I'm 100% on board. Yep, that's him.
Yeah,
he did it. And he I mean, I don't want to judge him, but he looks like he does rituals and devil worshippings and satanic things. Like, yeah, he's yeah, this dude's pretty nuts, to say the least.
Yeah, I would not want to get caught in a dark alley with this dude. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, to say the least.
I mean, not that he was big or anything. It's just like, I don't want to run into this guy. Like,
and he killed, like I said, he killed 18 people. He didn't. I believe he attempted to kill 18 people, but there was actually a lot that survived. And he did all this through 1984 to 1985.
wow.
Without getting too much into him, I believe his first murder was a 9-year-old.
Wow, that's so sad, man.
Yeah.
That's disheartening, man.
Yeah.
I know all deaths are disheartening, but the fact that you go for a kid at first, I don't know, man. That's just a whole nother level.
Yeah, he was connected to a lot of things in the area. Basically, the reason he's brought up when you talk about the Cecil Hotel is because he was a prolific serial killer at the time,
right?
Known as the Night Stalker, and the added rituals and negative energy that he brought to the hotel is what a lot of people believe what drives the supernatural and paranormal activities that occur today.
That would make sense. That would make a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah,
because especially when you dabble in that stuff. Again, I don't plan on it. But from what I know, I mean, even just messing with Ouija boards, you're welcoming stuff. You're actually almost opening a portal, saying, "Hey, this is the spot. Come on in." And
so you want me to bring my Ouija board over? Is what you're saying?
You will not be allowed in my house. So that actually makes complete amount of sense. Now that you bring that up,
we'll go ahead and get into your guy. He was our second.
So Carrie's coming in. She said, "Speaking of nutcases." What's up, Carrie? And then Sandy said, but he had women who wanted to marry him. I mean, he got married.
Yep.
He got married?
He had a girlfriend when he was doing all this. Yeah.
Stop. A night crawler. No. Night stalker, Jaime. And that is one of the pictures of what he looked like. It's just a bad picture of him.
It's pretty accurate, though.
It is. I mean, that is him. Sandy Abbey, I think we should dig into the mental health of those who want to marry this guy or Manson types.
That's what I was gonna say. If Charles Manson can do it, then he can too. So
Here I am. Send. Oh wait. Anyway, but yeah. So 6 years after the Richard Ramirez situation with the Night Stalker, in 1991, Jack Unterweger. What did I say?
close enough.
Close enough.
It's German. It's German. So whatever.
It's German. So this guy had traveled to the U.S. to write a series of articles about prostitution in America. So what was crazy and perfect for Jack, because of the seedy street life surrounding the hotel, he actually stayed there during his time. And so he began to actually join the LAPD in ride-alongs in the red light areas for a part of his research. During that same period, a serial killer had begun to target local sex workers, beating them and strangling them with their own bras, a lot like the Night Stalker. So the crazy part is this guy, Jack, was mimicking the actions of Richard Ramirez at the time. So this actually caught the attention of the police in Germany. So what I'm going to focus on is I'm going to backtrack a little bit. In 1974, Jack murdered an 18-year-old German citizen, Margaret Schaefer, I don't know, by strangling her with her own bra. And in 1976, he was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. While imprisoned, he wrote short stories, poems, plays. He actually did an own autobiography, Purgatory or the Trip to Prison, Report of a Guilty Man. That later served as the basis for a documentary. But in 1985, a campaign to pardon and release him from prison began, which actually was successful. He was released on the 23rd of May in 1990, after the required minimum 15 years of his life term. And upon his release, his autobiography was taped and was taught in schools, and his stories for children were performed on Austrian radio. So we've got this guy who he was released. Like he was put in prison for life but released on parole.
Yeah.
But he then came over to the US and started to kill again. So the whole good-natured whatever, the good behavior of him trying to fool people into him getting released. Sorry if you can hear any background noise. My roommates are going buck wild. He just it was all a ruse. It was all fake. It was all facade, because he then started to kill again. But so he killed a young woman in Czechoslovakia and 7 more in Austria in 1990. Yeah. Before he even came over. There was a 39-year-old, a 31-year-old, a 35-year-old, a 23-year-old, a 25-year-old, another 25-year-old, and a 32-year-old. And they were all strangled with their own bras. And so, I don't know. It just goes on and on and on. But the police in Graz eventually had enough evidence to arrest him. But he had fled by the time they had entered his house.
Yeah.
And so he and his girlfriend, Bianca Mrock, they chased him through Switzerland, France, and the U.S., and he was finally arrested in Miami, Florida, on the 27th of February in 1992. So shout out to everybody in Florida. You've got all kinds of crazy stories down there.
For real.
So anyway.
Yeah, and those were the 2 prolific serial killers that lived there long term. Added a lot to the Cecil Hotel's creepiness, negative, whatever you want to attribute it to. These 2 definitely played a role. Now, the next story we're going to get into is what everybody knows the Cecil Hotel for, and it's the story of Elisa Lam. Now, this is one of my favorite stories. Now, what happened to her? Terrible, awful. But
Right.
the eeriness and the creepy story and just everything that happened behind it is really intriguing, and it makes no sense. Before we even get into it, I want to play the video
Okay.
because it adds a lot into of what was she doing. Like,
Right.
it is a 3-minute video, but
I was gonna say, as you're pulling that up, I was gonna get into some more of these comments real quick.
go for it.
He had court groupies. He got married in jail.
Yeah.
Oh, that's insane. And Alexander's saying, Carrie Patton Jackson, I keep thinking the same thing. And so she said, his pic looks pretty close to that Punisher mouth behind you, Trey. Take it down. You'll never see it the same now. And Sandy was saying Jack was a pimp in middle school.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead and play that.
So
Full screen that if you can.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to play in here. Is that
Perfect.
bigger? Okay.
Yep.
Cool. All right. So this is nuts. She gets in, presses buttons.
So
Unfortunately,
let's not play. Apparently, Jaime's saying let's not play more than 30 seconds because we might get pulled off for it. We can't play the full video. So maybe skip through it.
Okay, so she's about to start peeking around the corner. Okay, that's pretty odd. Like, who does that? Now she's hiding. Clearly, she's hiding in the corner. And she's just peeking around, looking. And then she comes out. Still being very peculiar. And then she starts pressing all these buttons. Which, one thing that's always made me wonder, why is this elevator not moving?
Right.
Why is the door not closing?
Nothing is happening.
Yeah. And she just keeps going in and out looking. Clearly, she's looking for something. And then at some point,
Something's wrong, clearly.
And it looks like she's talking. Or she can't... I don't know, but that's what she's doing right now is odd.
I don't know what's going on with her hands.
And then it finally closes.
And then it shuts. Wow.
Now, what's nuts is it stays on this floor.
What?
It stays on this floor. It just keeps opening and closing.
Yo.
That video's nuts. That video is nuts.
Yeah, it's really weird and peculiar.
Now, at that one point when she was doing that with her hands, I don't know if she was like, maybe she couldn't see or something.
Did she have glasses on? Did she have her glasses on?
No, she didn't have glasses on.
So that answers this question. Serious question. Does she have bad eyes? Why was she bent down down like that to go push buttons? I didn't see her glasses.
I didn't which, okay, I can't see with my glasses, but I'm not that bad.
Yeah.
When you see when she gets really close to the buttons on the elevator,
Right.
that makes me think that she's nearsighted, or excuse me, not nearsighted, but she's farsighted.
No,
So-
you're right. Nearsighted.
No, because I'm nearsighted. Nearsighted means you can't see far away. Farsighted means you can't see up close. Oh, so yeah, she might be nearsighted. I'm stupid.
I'm nearsighted.
Whatever.
I'm like,
Either
without my
which way.
glasses, I'm blind. I can't read.
Well, she got right up on them, so
Right. So
that
she's
makes-
nearsighted.
So she can't.
Regardless.
It's odd. She gets right up on it, and she looks at, which if you're running from something, why is your first instinct to press every button?
Yeah. No, okay. So from that, she was probably freaking out.
Yeah.
She was probably trying to get the door shut. She's probably literally wanting to go to any floor. I'm not sure. Like you said, I don't know if she was being chased, talking to someone, or if she was asking for help. But that's so weird. I don't know. Very spooky indeed.
And what's nuts is, to me, I think she's running from something.
Right.
In the episode of Ghost Hunters, or not Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, Zach like recreates this kind of thing, and what she actually said, I'm pretty sure he does this in the show. He plays this game, and the elevator does the exact same thing. It goes to that floor, and it stays on that floor.
Oh my gosh, dude.
He played that game. He actually did that in the show. And that elevator's nuts, but it kept going to that floor. Now,
so I've actually heard about the game, and apparently, are you gonna explain it?
I can't remember it, so go ahead.
Well, I don't. Again, so the goal is to basically, I think it's either to go to a different dimension or just get yourself where you're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, you can't access this floor without doing this game.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of things can go wrong, and people do it just for the thrill. So yeah, that makes sense. If you go, feel free to look it up on your own time. But it's spooky business.
Now, Elisa was supposedly known to have a really bad bipolar.
Yes.
And
she had medication for it.
Correct. And I'm not sure what she was taking, but most people with really bad bipolar take lithium or some form of
lithium.
Yes, I think that's what it's called. I can't remember.
Lithium? Really? Okay.
Yeah. I think so. I don't know. That's just a wild guess.
All right.
But they found her medication in her bloodstream, like
right.
me and you talked about.
And they didn't find anything else because, she wasn't on crack. She didn't have any heroin. She nothing even recreational was in her bloodstream. So,
yes. So I'm right. I thought I was crazy. They do take lithium. It's called lithobid.
Interesting.
So there's a bunch of other ones, but that is like one of the most prescribed that people take. Now, so supposedly once she gets off the elevator, that's kind of where the video ends. You don't see her get into the video anymore. Now, I believe she stayed on I think it was the 12th floor. I don't remember what floor it was.
Couldn't tell you.
I think it was the 12th. I think it was the 12th. But she was up there. But she was nowhere near the top of the building.
Right.
So she would have had to use the staircase, or I don't know any other way up there.
Right.
So she would have had to act, because she was found in the water tank. Now I'm going to bring up this picture again.
A water tank that supplied water to the entire hotel.
Correct. So she had been reporting missing for almost 3 weeks. So she has, I think it was by her parents. Now, what makes me think that she wasn't playing the Korean elevator game is her parents immigrated to Canada. So I believe she was born in Canada. I don't know if her parents or her family may have been Korean, but they speak Cantonese, I believe, which would not be from Korea.
It's a Chinese dialect.
Correct. So I don't know if that's 100% what she was playing, but that makes me, I don't know, I'm not entirely sure. But nonetheless, she was found in the water tank. Her death was ruled an accidental drowning, and the only reason they found her is because after 19 days of sitting in the water tank, after people bathing, drinking, and brushing their teeth with the water that supposedly smelled foul, changed colors, they finally looked and found her body in the water tank.
So foul. And so sad. Imagine you waking up You're in the Cecil Hotel on a vacation. You're with your family. You notice, oh, the water's kind of off. You know, you just got done taking a shower, you're brushing your teeth. This tastes off. I'm not crazy. This does taste off. Mm-hmm. Check out your hotel a couple days later and you find out, oh, I've been showering with the remains of someone who has passed away. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Not only that, but I've ingested that same water. That is terrifying. Carrie is correct.
So here's the roof of the Cecil Hotel. Supposedly she was found in this back left one, I believe.
I think so.
So that's where she was found. Now, you got to think. Even if you're having a bad trip.
I wonder if she fell in.
Bipolar, but look at this path. She would have had to come here, jump up onto these. It looks like air conditioning units.
I think there's a set of stairs right there, right where your purse is at to the left.
Yes. So you're thinking, down here?
Right. Right there.
Oh, I can't. It's too blurry. I can't really tell.
I saw a guy earlier recording. He somehow got up on top of the Cecil and he was filming it. And I think he walked up a set of stairs.
Either which way, the fact that she got up here and then opened the reservoir to get into the tank, and they found it closed, is what's even more creepy about it.
Right.
That just seems extremely odd. I don't understand.
So
and if you're,
I'm sorry, really quick. Sandy was saying they found less than what she was prescribed in her system, and then your wife is actually saying she took all 4 of these: Wellbutrin, Lamictal, Seroquel, and Effixor for bipolar. And Sandy's actually saying that they were Chinese.
I knew it. So I don't think she was. I find it hard to believe that, because a lot of Chinese people don't really. A lot of the Asian countries don't interact with each other, if you know anything about that. But I don't believe she was playing the game. I think there was something more. Either she was running, or it probably was just a really bad bipolar trip. And
and here's the thing, because I feel like if she had less than what was prescribed, because I have quite a few friends that struggle with depression and stuff like that, and if they're weaning themselves off, obviously is not prescribed by a doctor, it's like you're gonna go into, not remission, but you know what I'm talking about, basically, you're going off of what you're prescribed. Mm-hmm. You're gonna have bouts of depression, so you're gonna hit the lows, and I don't know if that's what she was going through. I don't know if she was just having something going on upstairs, but that doesn't make sense. It, like you said, she crawled in.
Yeah.
Oh, which go ahead.
My thing is she was competent enough to check in. She was competent enough to get to her room, to get in her room, do things within her room. I don't, because even if she was taking less than what she was supposed to prescribe, because if most medication, it takes 2 weeks to build up in your system before it actually starts working.
Which is crazy, but yeah.
Which is the same way if you're being weaned off of it. There's no way she would have went from 0 to 100 literally that fast.
Right.
So, and I believe in some of the stuff I read, there was no indications from the staff that she was acting odd or anything like that. So I find it hard to believe that she went like that to that in a day.
Yeah, that is true. That is something to think about.
But nonetheless, I would say her whole, everything about her story is extremely peculiar.
And what sucks is there's no leads, because this is still a cold case, right? This is still isn't solved. And this happened in 2013?
Yep. And they ruled it an accidental drowning.
That doesn't make sense. Jaime's coming in saying gross. So people were bathing, showering, drinking, brushing their teeth, their bodies, and their babies, and family bodies. Yes.
Yep.
He said Takisa would have tasted that as soon as it came out of the faucet. Oh, and the door had an alarm that would notify staff if opened. Wow. That's something new. And then Sandy's saying, I think it was a manic episode for sure. She had those episodes before. She is moved from her room because of her behavior. She was moved from her room because of her behavior.
I don't know. I still find it hard to believe.
If it is, it's very upsetting and really crazy to find herself on the top floor and jumping in. You know what I'm saying? That's so... I'm not saying it's out of the possibility, but
yeah,
it just doesn't make sense. I'm with you, Josh. I think there's something else going on here.
Definitely. And then, of course, we can't leave out the last guy who was found. I believe it was 2 years after Alyssa's death. He was also unidentified, was never determined to have been figured out who he was. But it was the body of a 28-year-old man, and it was believed that he had committed suicide by jumping off of the hotel. And the true cause of his death, for some reason, from the county coroner, was undeterminable.
What floor did he jump out of?
I'm not sure. I believe it was the top, so the 15th floor.
So the cause of death would not be from him hitting the floor.
Yes. So
the concrete floor below.
So it's rumored that he committed suicide, but a spokesperson for the county coroner had said that the cause of his death had not been determined. So,
meaning he could have died before he was pushed or jumped.
Yeah. And that seems to be the
initial cause of death.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, this whole place has written. I mean, don't get me wrong. If someone offered me a chance to go, I would go, 100%.
I'd stay with you.
You'd go?
Sure.
Okay.
And five other people.
Road trip. No. This is gonna be just like Ghost Adventures. I'm gonna make you Aaron and throw you on the floor by yourself.
Nope. That's not. Nope. I can't do that. I said I'd go.
I'll send you to the water tank. I'll send you to the water.
No. But yeah, Carrie's saying that she had any mental health professionals advocate for manic episodes or against it on her behalf in court. I'm not entirely sure. That's a good question. We're gonna have to do some more research on this.
This is mainly more into the whole persona and creepiness of the Cecil Hotel. We didn't get really too deep into the serial killers and everything that. And just another little thing about Alyssa, what makes me even think that it was even more, like not. I definitely don't think it was a manic episode. Just because of her credentials. Like, she was smart. She was an active person, an avid person who was, I mean, she had a lot of friends. She did things. She traveled. She did all sorts of things. I understand if someone might have a disability and that they have things to take to maintain that disability. But this lady seems smart enough to know what she was doing. And I don't know. That video speaks 1,000 words. It just doesn't make sense.
I don't know, man. This whole place is crazy.
Pretty much.
This is a bunch of bonkers. That's all I know, man. Like, the amount of stuff that's happening at this hotel and the fact that it is the deadliest hotel in LA has to amount for something.
So would you stay there for one night by yourself for $1 billion?
No.
$1 billion. $1 billion.
Oh, man. I'd have to have so many, like, mental health repair, mental health treatment plans afterwards, because I would be a wreck, man. Like, I don't really think I've done anything paranormal, man. Like,
I'm telling you, we gotta do a live episode from somewhere. I would be down going to Waverly Hills.
I'm telling you, excuse me. I am a couple miles away from Waverly. I've never been there. So, oh my gosh, man.
If it's coming from
the billion would have to be in my account, before I went.
No, because then you might. I don't know. I would do it 100. I'd do it for free. That pisses me. Yeah, I'm telling you, I would go to Waverly Hills. We could do a live episode from Waverly Hills. What do you?
We'd have to talk to some people.
I want to know what the audience thinks. Would they go and would you all go to the Cecil Hotel? Money, no money. That number one. And number two, would a live show... Now, I don't know how easy it is to probably do a live show from Waverly, but
we just have to stream it, I guess.
We could find somewhere that we could do it. I would definitely be down to do it. I would literally drive up there and do it. I would.
Alexandra says not even then.
Man. Yeah, it's okay, Tamara. You're scared of stuff too.
So, yeah, Tamara says, count me out, babe.
It's okay.
So, yeah, we want to hear from you guys. Would you stay at the Cecil? And I actually want to know what you guys think happened to Elisa. As sad as it is it Alyssa?
Yeah.
Somebody said, one of the guys I was listening to on the videos said Elisa. That's why it messed it up in my head. Alyssa Lamb, as tragic of a story as that is. But, Josh, do you have anything else to add about the Cecil?
Other than I really want to go there? No.
Yeah, I mean, this was an action-packed episode. We talked a ton about the insane happenings of the Cecil Hotel. We want to hear some feedback from you guys. What do you think happened? What do you think is really going on in this hotel? We really appreciate you guys hopping into the comments and blowing up our comment section. I don't think I could drive by.
Jeez, that bad, huh?
Jaime saying, oh, heck nah, forget that. Can you imagine the germs there from the water pipes? That alone would have me distancing myself like no one's business. Elisa Lamb, I think it's spiritual battle going on for her, man, for reals. I'm with you, CPJ, nope, but... Well, we love you guys so much. We really appreciate you guys coming on to Unopened Files and chilling with us and learning more about the Cecil Hotel. We are here every Tuesday night at 8:30 CST, 9:30 EST. Catch us every Tuesday here. Please feel free to reach out to us if you want a topic you want us to cover, if you want to possibly be on the show in the future. I guess that's all I've got for you guys tonight. Just remember to stay safe, stay healthy,
and keep opening those files. And before we go,
ooh,
Trey will not be here next week.
That's right.
So if someone wants to come on here and pick a topic and do it with me, if not, I'm honestly probably just going to try it alone. I don't know how well that'll work.
We'll have to have somebody come on with you, man.
But if someone watching wants to send me a message, send the Facebook a message, the email's on there. I will be looking if someone wants to come on here. So
I will. Yes, I will be on vacation. I'll be going to Orlando with my family. So we will be traveling on out there to have a little vacation. So, but yes. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Yeah, and keep opening the files.
Love you guys. Take care.
See ya.